How's it going, people? Hope you're well. Welcome back to the show. Listen, it wouldn't be a round off of a long weekend without talking about the weekend's game as far as Arsenal are concerned. Before I do start, though, please smash a like on this video if you haven't done so already, and please subscribe to the channel. I'm a few hundred off of 5K, and I'd love to get there if I can do. It'd be amazing. Much love to you guys for all listening and for coming back. I want to say as well, this was a weekend full of VAR disgraces, and I'm going to do something on it. I'm going to get a few of the guys on from the other uh, channels and just have a bit of a chat about where we think this is going wrong, what needs to change. Is VAR the issue? Is it the officiating? Is it both? Is it the system? Is it the rules? Or is it just we're trying to make football completely different and try and be a little bit too clever? I prefer the old school, if I'm honest. I can't lie, guys. I prefer the old school of two linesmen and a referee and a fourth official, and they decide what happens. Something needs to change. I've seen too many massive errors over this weekend to suggest that perhaps the officials are shocking. The VAR system doesn't work. The rules are too grey. They're not as black as white as they should be. There's a lot of question marks for me. A lot of question marks for me over the future of VAR and the officiating. A lot of people say it works in the Champions League, in the Europa League, in Spain, in Germany, in France. Well, it ain't working in England. And I don't know if that's to do with bad officiating. That's what I put it down to. But something needs to change because we're getting too many mistakes and it's ruining the game totally, in my opinion. That's my first rant. But I'm not here to talk about VAR. I'm going to do a show on the stream on that soon with a few others and talk a little bit about where they think it's going wrong. But we are going to talk about Arsenal's performance against Manchester United. And it was a performance that, let's be honest, a few of us were quite proud of in parts. I don't think personally there was enough to say that we didn't deserve to lose. I think that'd be harsh if we said that because the way we lost the game, I thought was viewed sheer naivety. Sheer naivety, in my opinion, from the manager and from the players. And I think sometimes we have to just accept that this is a young side that's going to make mistakes. And it's okay to say that. You're not slating the team or the manager by saying that. You're not slating Kroenke by saying that. We've lost one game, we're top of the league, and things are looking rosy. But we do need to ask questions about yesterday's performance in certain parts of the game. I thought we started the game pretty shaky. I thought Manchester United came out and you could see that Ten Hag had lifted them. You can see that their performances have gone up. You can see that their confidence has gone up in the last few games. And I think personally, we came into our own after that. I think the first 10 minutes or so, we looked a little shaky. But then once our nerves had settled and this team got into the swing of it, I thought we were the better side right up until the end of that half. And I think that when you look at the goal that we first scored, you look at that goal live where I was in the stadium, and I thought, what a goal. The ball from Saka was exquisite. The first touch from Martinelli, even better. And the finish, so underrated. Such a difficult finish. Such a great goal. And one that I was really proud of. I think Martinelli's had a good season and he's starting to score more now. And then, of course, what happens? It all goes quiet, doesn't it? And I said to my dad and the guy sitting around to me, I said, yeah, they're going to try and chalk this one off because it's at Old Trafford. Now, having seen it back, I understand why it's given as a foul, but I think it's really soft. I think it's really weak. And the lack of consistency here is the issue. Whether you think that's a foul or not, the lack of consistency is the issue. Because in one game it is, in one game it isn't. With one official it is, with a different official it isn't. And that's the problem we've got here. It takes Paul Tierney, you can see, an uncomfortable amount of time to make that decision. He wants to give the goal. He's being told by VAR, we believe, that something's gone wrong here. There's a foul somewhere along the line. He just does not believe there is. You can see. Then he goes over to the screen and he's looking at it over 8 or 9 angles for about 10 minutes. And I'm sitting there thinking, just give the goal in, mate, if it's not that clear and obvious. Because clear and obvious are two words we are not here enough. If VAR is to be used properly, it needs to be clear and obvious. That was what I was told when we were bringing it in. Now, all of a sudden, you can do it for anything. Just take it right the way back. And we are using VAR to basically referee the game when the referee should be the referee. And then VAR, when a clear and obvious mistake has happened, should come in. Now, I don't see that as a clear and obvious mistake. I don't see any of those weekends disputes being put up for a clear and obvious. I don't see the one at West Ham. I don't see the Newcastle one. I don't see the Brighton and Leicester stuff happening there. And I certainly didn't see it yesterday's game at Old Trafford. Now, let me just remind you of Leicester Brighton. A couple of hours earlier, the same things happens and Iheanacho scores. So why can that one be allowed and our one not? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, whether you think it's soft, whether you think it's a foul, I personally do think it's a foul because Ødegaard doesn't win the ball. He puts both his hands on him and he shoves Eriksen, right? It's soft. It probably should have been allowed play to go on like Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and some of the others have said. But it's a foul, yeah? We get on with it. But the VAR side of things is so inconsistent that I can understand people's frustrations. That goal would have changed the game completely. 1-0 Martinelli, we're in the game, 1-0, and it's looking good. We find ourselves going 1-0 down. And I have to say, the goal that we conceded was poor. I thought it was poor on our left-hand side of our defence from both Gabriel and Zinchenko. I think Gabriel makes a few errors to start up with the build for that goal, but Zinchenko gets sucked in and Antony is left on his own. I would have started Kieran Tierney. Now, I'm not saying Kieran Tierney is the reason that we lost this game because he wasn't playing, but I don't see us conceding that goal if Kieran Tierney's on the field because I think his positioning and his discipline would have been better than Zinchenko's. Zinchenko's lost his man completely because he's been sucked into what Gabriel and Saliba are doing. Now, as a left back, I don't think that's what you should be doing. So Kieran Tierney, I know for a fact, after playing a very good game at Aston Villa, I don't really understand why he didn't start. Personally, thought he would be a good player to play against Man United at Old Trafford. I like what I see from Zinchenko, but he's just come back from injury. I think he was a little bit harsh to dump Kieran Tierney out the side after a good performance at Aston Villa, but so be it. I think personally, although it might be harsh, people might say to drop Zinchenko, you get them to fight for that position. You're injured, mate. Tierney's in at the moment. Wait for him to get injured or have a bad game and you'll come straight back in. That's what I would have done. I really don't think we concede that goal if Kieran Tierney's on the pitch. I just really don't. And we might have conceded the ball, but I don't think Tierney leaves Antony on his own. Perfect finish for Antony on his left-hand side. It's his strong point, and we're 1-0 down. And a lot of people will say, do we deserve that? I think we deserve to concede the goal the way we did. Yeah, I do. But perhaps the performance wasn't so shocking. Individually, I didn't see anybody that I thought was weak. But defensively, as a unit, we were poor at times. And of course, our naivety shone through. We get to half time. We're a little bit down and hearted that we're 1-0 down. But then the second half starts. And I must say, guys, this performance for me was one of the most positives of the game. I thought for that 15 minutes, Arsenal were exceptional. Everything they did was tenacious. It was winning all the duels. It was keeping possession. It was creating chances. It was moving forward. It was looking to get our triangles being passed around again. It looked to me as if Jesus was just a menace on the right, then on the left, then through the centre, then dropping deep. Ødegaard was wonderful to watch. I thought Saka was exceptional and just had Malaysia on toast. A player I think's done well for Man United. He was terrible. I honestly believe that Saka just had him on absolute toast. Martinelli went off and out of the game a bit, but was still a good threat for me, particularly in the first half and parts of the second. But towards the end of the game, drifted away. So there was a lot to be proud about. And then the goal comes. And it's actually a mistake from Varane, who passes the ball out to Xhaka. Xhaka then sprays it to Ødegaard, and Ødegaard puts a fantastic pass up to Jesus. And I think it's Dalot who just misses out. And then Martinez flings himself at the shot from Saka because it falls to him and he puts it in and the crowd goes nuts. I mean, we went so mental when that goal went in. It was fantastic to see. And it's a goal that I really was quite proud of because it was a one that we thought that we, one, deserved, but two, could go on and win the game. And that's where it went wrong, people. That was where it went wrong. We became naive. We became so naive at 1-1 that we all got excited and we thought we are going to go and win it 2 or 3-1. And the fan base might have had a part to play in that, but actually it's not the fan base's fault to conduct how excited we get. We're fans. We just scored. We're going to get excited. It's the job of the manager to calm things down. It's 1-1. There's 25 minutes left to go still. Let's not get too mental about things. And I personally felt like we just went gung-ho. And the reason we went gung-ho allowed or exposed our defence. And that was when their second goal happened. It's a fantastic pass, yes. It's a fantastic finish. but we need to sort ourselves out in midfield and defensively there, because that is something we are going to have to learn from now, because that was just way too easy for me. Bruno Fernandes passes that ball in. Lokonga and Xhaka, who actually I thought individually didn't play too badly, they've got to do better there. It was clear that we have got no defensive midfielder. When Thomas Partey's out, we definitely miss him because the drop-off is poor. Lokonga, El Neni, Xhaka, whoever plays there, the drop-off is so poor. And unfortunately, Thomas Partey, we knew was going to be injured, and we decided to do nothing about it yet again in another transfer window. So we only have ourselves to blame. Now I look at what Lokonga did well. Everything on the ball was great. I really liked his passing. I really liked the way that he tried to drift forward. I loved the forward passing and the thinking about his game. I loved the way that he had Xhaka, an understanding, with Granit Xhaka. And I loved the way that he tried to play in the game. But off the ball, we have some problems with Lokonga, I feel. 0 tackles in the game for a defensive midfielder. Proves to me he's not a defensive midfielder. And I think he's getting slammed at times by some Arsenal fans again. And I think, hang on a minute. Let's just calm it down a minute. This guy has never been a Thomas Partey figure. He's never been a holding midfielder from what I can work out. He looks more of a left 8. He's definitely not one that sits in front of the front four. And I think we knew that. The back four. And I think we knew that from looking at last year. So now he's being asked to do it. I don't think he's got the attributes to do stuff off the ball. I really don't. And I feel like Lokonga is going to be a player that perhaps needs some time. And I'm not sure that we're going to have the ability to give him time, unfortunately. Because when Partey's out, we need someone to come in and be ready. And I'm not so sure that he's ready yet. And it's a shame because I like Sambi Lokonga. There's a lot about his game that I really like. I felt sorry for him last season because I felt he got caned. I felt he got thrown at the deep end. But for me, when we're 1-1, I just wanted to see somebody in that midfield control it. And I'm not so sure that Granit Xhaka and Lokonga were the answer to that, it turns out. So when it's 2-1, we panic even more and we think, we need goals. Let's just throw a load of subs on. Now, our bench at the moment, guys, is depleted. It looks so weak. I like Smith Rowe. Can't keep fit. Injured again in the warm down. I mean, how'd you get injured on a warm down? But he's out. Someone said in the chat yesterday, earlier on, that he's 6 weeks out. How can you be out for 6 weeks and getting injured in a warm down? It's just mad. I liked what I saw from Fabio Vieira because he wanted the ball. He looks lightweight and there's some problems there, but trust me, I think he can play football from what I can see. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Fabio Vieira moving forward. I do think as well that Eddie Nketiah, there's a lot of pressure on him to come on and score goals, and I just don't think he's good enough to do that. I think we saw goals at the back end of last season and everyone got very excited, but I'm yet to see that form come into this season. So we bring on 3 subs. I think 1, that was mad to do all at once. And 2, not only we lose momentum, but we weakened our front line when we needed to score. Because we took off Lokonga, which is not weakening it, but we took off Erdegaard and we took off, someone's going to tell me in the chat, who else did we take off? Erdegaard, Lokonga, and someone else, and I can't remember who it was now. Oh, Zinchenko. There we go. Zinchenko as well. And I felt like we weakened it. I just felt like we did. I don't think the players that came on had any telepathy. They've never played together before. I just felt it looked weak now going forward. And, although we had the same front 3, it just didn't look like there was any connection between any of them. And it just didn't work for me. It didn't work. And of course, we left ourselves open. We have no defensive midfielder now, not even Lokonga, who's supposed to be playing there. And it goes straight through to Rashford again. 1 pass through from Eriksen. It was poor. And then obviously he slots it to the left to Rashford to make it 3-1. And we leave disappointed. And I think we were so naive there. If we would have held on to 1-1 just a little bit longer, only 5 minutes sometimes, that's all it takes. And just group together, regroup, keep the possession football. You are the better side. At 60 minutes, you've scored. The first 15, you've been on top. Keep it there. Don't lose out on that. And that's what frustration for me with Mikel Arteta is. I feel like the team, albeit naive anyway because of their age, I felt like we needed to show a little bit of maturity and prove to people that we have grown and progressed in this team. And I didn't see that. I looked like a team that not capitulated by any means, but certainly looked to get too excited and forgot about the basics. And that was don't leave yourself exposed. I'm a fan of Saliba and I'm a fan of Gabriel, but I thought as a unit, they were a little bit shaky. And it's the first time I've questioned anything about those two because I think they're brilliant and I do rate them still. But I think their defensive midfielder lack of, should I say, in the middle didn't do them any favours. And I do personally feel like that's a massive position for us now to look at. People talking about Danilo from Brazil coming in January. Well, we need something before then because we are in a mess in the middle of midfield. Now, if Partey's out for another few weeks, I don't know the suggestions he could be in and around the squad for Everton on the weekend. We need him. El Neni's out for a long time. Granit Xhaka can't play that role. Lukonga can't play that role. Kanzinchenko. Do we try someone else? Can Ben White play in there? There's a lot of options there now that people are talking about. And I scratch my head wondering why we're thinking about playing Ben White there when the transfer window was open and we could have got somebody in. Now, I'm not talking about us going and getting somebody like Rodri or Fabinho. But when I look at Wijnaldum going on a free transfer to Roma and I look at players like Gay going back to Everton, I look at midfielders like Onana going to Everton. I look at what players Manchester United and Chelsea and Spurs have all got. I'm amazed that we didn't go for Bissouma for 25 million, man. If we were bidding 25 million for Douglas Luiz, why don't we just pay 25 million for Bissouma? It's absolute mad for me. But imagine Bissouma in our midfield now. What do I know? It's mad. It is mad and it's frustrating. And I do worry, guys, that we don't have the strength in depth for this season. I really do. And I was really positive. I said we win the first 5 games. I didn't say we'd win 6 because I felt like we'd struggle at Old Trafford. But the reason I said we'd win the first 5 games is because I felt like this first 11 is good enough to win them first 5 games. And with 3 days of the transfer window left, excuse me, I was still really happy, thinking we get 2 or 3 more players in, and I'm really happy here. Then we went 3 days left, no one comes in. Then 2 days left, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, are you going to sign anyone here? Then somebody else says, I think we're going to get this player. Nothing happens. Nothing happens, and we're now left with about 14 really good players, and the rest are all, let's be honest, below par or average at best. And that ain't good enough. Not for what we want to achieve. You want to get into Europa League again? I think we'll probably do that with this side, but that ain't enough for me. So we need Champions League football. We need to secure that through the league and finish as close as we can to Man City because that's where we are or thereabouts at the moment. Let's keep that going. We need to be competitive in the domestic cups and we need the Europa League win. We need 5 subs available to come on every game and we got a World Cup year. I'm not so sure 14 players can do that, guys. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see what happens come towards the end of the October period where we have 9 games. Moving forward, though, I don't think Manchester United were great, but they got the 3 points. I thought Arsenal were okay, but we didn't get the 3 points, and that's what matters. The performance sometimes doesn't matter. If you play brilliantly, if you don't get the 3 points, it doesn't matter, and that's what's happened with Arsenal, in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. We've won 5 games on the bounce many times under Mikel Arteta. When we lose one, sometimes what happens is we lose 2 or 3 in a row. I don't want to see us taking anything less than 6 points against our next 2 league games, Everton and Brentford, because what we need to do is be top of that league going into that North London derby. We need to. We go into that game top of the league, full of confidence. We go into that game knowing that we can really hurt our North London rivals. And that's going to be really beautiful if that can happen. We've got some games in European games coming up. Obviously, Thursday we've got Zurich, which is going to be a difficult game away, and we know what they're about in terms of European football in and around it. I think we've got enough to do the job. I expect to see a team that's probably going to be a B team. I think Turner will play this one. I reckon we'll play Tomiyasu at right back. I expect Tierney to come in at left back. I think Ben White and Saliba or Ben White and Rob Holding will probably partner. I then expect it to be Xhaka and Lukonga because that's all we've really got at the moment. And it looks to me as if Fabio Vieira will probably play in the Ødegaard role. And then we'll have Marquinhos, Eddie Nketiah, and probably Martinelli is my bet to play that game. And then we'll use what we have left to come on in and around that side. I don't think that Smith Rowe will be a part because I'm hearing that he's injured. And obviously we've got injuries at the moment to El Neni and Partey as well. So I don't expect they'll play. But it'll be interesting to see some new faces, interested to see how we do play and how we line up and how we set up for that one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. October's a huge month, guys. 9 games. Wow. 9 games in October. Unbelievable. We need a squad depth for that. And I just pray and hope that we've got enough for it. We don't get any more injuries and that some of our players can come back in time for that. My thoughts don't change on the manager. My thoughts don't change on the players. My thoughts don't change on our expectations for this season just after a loss. I think that's the best football we've played in a long time at Old Trafford. I really do. But we lost the game. And it's through our naivety again. The mistakes we're making at the moment are becoming individual errors. This one was more of a team effort. I don't want to see that coming in now because individual errors you can iron out. When Ramsdale beat his near post, just don't do it again. When Ben White takes someone out, when Gabriel makes a foul, when Xhaka gets a red card, all these kind of things are individual errors that you can iron out between them by having a word of them saying, what you're doing next time, do this because that won't happen. When it's a team that are becoming naive and start to concede goals the way we did on Sunday, that's when it becomes an issue for me. So I hope that doesn't continue and we learn from this. So, guys, this has been a quick stream. Wanted to do a little bit of a post-match show with what you've got opinion-wise on this one. I don't blame VAR. I don't blame the referee, not for this result anyway. I blame them in general for how poor officiating we're seeing, but I don't blame them for this one. We lost this game through being naive. Mikel Arteta didn't help at all with the 3 substitutions that he put on. I felt that we tried too hard and I felt we got a bit too excited and showed a little bit of immaturity. And I think what we need to do now is learn from this and remember that when you're 1-1 away to Old Trafford, that's a really good result with a half hour left to go. Really good result. And we went all gung-ho for it and ended up losing the game and leaving ourselves exposed to 2 Marcus Rashford goals. And it's funny because that's a player that I really do not rate. And somehow he scored 2 goals against us. But there we go. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Please smash a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm on my road to 5K, so please try and help me get to that. I'd like to try and get to that if I can in the next couple of weeks. So please support the channel if you can do. We're going to be back tomorrow night. We're going to have the Race for Europe show where Tobes and Lawless are going to be going at it as always. I'm sure Dan United will want to give me some stick. And then Lewis and Lawless are going to go at it because this VAR stuff with West Ham was an absolute joke. Also, tomorrow night, we've got the best of the rest, and we're going to be looking at the VAR decisions over the weekend, which was just a shambles, particularly at West Ham, but also at Brighton and Newcastle games as well. And then a Fight for Survival show also will be Wednesday. So it's going to be an interesting one, guys. Come join us. Come subscribe. Tell your mates. Like and share our content. Please try and grow the channel. So I'd much appreciate your help with that one. Until then, we'll see you next time. And up the Arsenal. Take care, guys.